first thing is happy to make sure I've got everything ready. And yeah, I'm not even ready to actually click the go live button when it says go live. Oh, nice, Matt. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, Kirsty, thank you for coming. And Ali, thank you for coming. Yes, I would have been live as normal last night. However, I was, for some reason, incapable of movement. So I just about managed to muster up enough energy to change the start time to tonight. I'm fine this evening, so it seems to be okay. But I don't know. Yeah, I was unable to make last night. I'm sorry for anyone who came slightly early. But thank you for turning up. And yes, tonight we have. I must remember we have Whisper. I think it's Whisper. Ali says hi.
Hi.
Yes. Sparkles is down there making her own little things at the moment. Is it air? Is it air drying clay?
No, it's got to go in the oven.
It's got to go in the oven.
30 minutes. That's why I'm doing them well.
Right, okay. And you're making the frog at the minute, and you've made started making the gnome as well. So she's going to be better than me already. Me, little turtle. But enough of turtles, enough of frogs, enough of gnomes. We have a cat to paint. Good evening, Mick. Good evening. If you would go me up for me. I will need the moral support. I'm going to clean the glasses in the quickest and easiest fashion I know how. Probably not the best, but it will do. Right. So Whisper is a I can't remember what it's called now. The one that's skin coloured anyway. The one furless things. Sphynx. Is it a Sphynx? Yeah, Sphynx. Sphynx. I think it's a Sphynx. I'll have to get my tongue around. So I'm going to have to sort the skin out first before I go into anything else on this one. Another tiny little one. None of the Siamese. Siamese do have really short hair, I think. But yeah, as Sphynx has like balls. So in this case, it's re-going over all the skin so I can use the skin appropriate speed paint. Afterwards. But I do still leave part of the snout. And I should be smart and do the eyes now. A bald cat, yes. Bald cat. They do exist. I may have to redo its ears again. I'll have to look. I can't remember. No, its ears should be okay. Gotta remember to clean the brush. I've got to catch up on chat. Not yet, Alex. She has not yet not made any of my models anyway. The clay ones she's making at the moment are a different matter. She chose to do them herself, and you got bake them in the oven and use coloured clay. And it looks fun. It does look fun. But not all the kids are back in school. Not until tomorrow. Tomorrow's the final day. I'm not overly keen on the Sphynx cats either. The bald cat thing just is a little off-putting. They just look like they're waiting for the fur to grow back. And it's not going to. Then you end up feeling sorry for them, and that's why you keep them. Because you're thinking, you poor thing, you're a bald cat in England. You're going to freeze. You're going to get to go outside for like 2 weeks every year. Bask in the sun. Hit myself in the face. In the fantasy football thing for captain, I think I'm still pretty much near the bottom. I can't check though because, well, my phone's being used as a camera, so I can't actually look. I can only check out that on captain. Well, yeah, on other people's streams, captains primarily, oranges or Blake's. I think it was actually on Blake's the other night when I had to sort out a transfer, apparently. I see that. That's way too watery. Way too watery. Don't wish to glaze these. Not with the base coat for the skin anyway. It's not a good idea to do when my actual intention is to throw a wash over them. Don't drop it. But it is also supposed to be a sorcerer. So it's going to have something a bit magical and a bit bright about them. And whereas wizards are essentially homework, the character. So they're okay with a bit of kind of muted tones and browns and pinks in the case of Hester. But Hester herself is brown, or was brown. Was brown? I suppose she still is because she's still sat there in the little box at the moment. So the pink robe was okay. sorcerers are just kind of born with magic, so a little bit more free with it. They don't get as much of it, but it's just more natural to them, either through how they were born or just through sheer chance of having wild magic, which I always think would be the more fun to play. But having that little table of possibly turning yourself into a potted plant or transporting yourself to another dimension just off a bad D100 roll, just because you wanted to cast, I don't know, light or feather fall or whatever spell you were trying to cast, or use a meta magic twin cast, or yeah, either way, a bad D100 roll is not something I want to screw up. She hasn't over the past week or so, but it's all been rush, get the kids back to school over the last week. Make sure all the uniforms fit, and make sure they're all being washed and got rid of that factory default, whatever it is they put them in, to make sure they store right. I'm going to have to double check some shirts after the stream to make sure whether or not they need ironing, and whether or not the dryer's worked its wonder again. I love that fact that if you can catch your clothes quick enough in the dryer, you can get them out, and then you don't have to iron them. It's great. It's awesome. Ta very much, Mick. Ta very much. Although I've still got to say, going without tobacco is still not fun. Because I haven't gone cold turkey and I'm still technically getting nicotine. And I've cut it down, so I'm on stage 2 patches, not the stage 1. But because I am still getting nicotine, I still have that urge for a cigarette. But it goes quickly if I can find, especially if I can find something to do. So I'm guessing that's how the patches work, is it gives you enough nicotine so that you've got a few weeks to find something that engaging enough for your hands, so that by the time that you do come off them, your hands are busy enough, go to get one. And they only don't work if you don't find something to do with your hands. Why have you got to have bangles? I don't understand why a cat needs to have bangles.
Sorcerer.
Now apparently I know why a cat needs to have bangles. It's because it's a sorcerer. The toothing coat things actually works. That's why I'm going back over the face now. Because it's dry. I can go back over the other thing coat and it just helps get rid of. That horrible black underlay thingy part. The non-smoking tobacco thing's going okay. I've not had a cigarette in over a week. Well over a week. I've not had any tobacco in well over a week. And I did jump down the patches 1 week early. So I went to step 2 a week earlier than it said you should. Whether or not that was a good idea, I don't know. What I did. And Sparkles has just realised she's made one huge whopping mistake on something.
My frog doesn't look like a frog. It looks more like a slime.
My turtle doesn't look like a turtle. He's got a squished face. He now sat blue tapped on my microphone. Not my microphone, my camera stand. Oh, hi, hey. I should try and make sure I continue talking then until you do eventually fall asleep. And I will bore you to Slumberland. Kirsty didn't remind me to stay in camera shot on that one. Or she might have, and I might have missed it. Did I miss Kirsty shouting at me for just going out of camera shot? No, I do not believe I did. See, I'm still in camera shot. I'm still painting skin at the moment as well. All the others had nice big robes to cover them. The one that's skin coloured, no. Would only have a little bit of thingy on the back of it, and that's it.
My gnome looks good.
Sparkles has a newfound appreciation how difficult it is to make something that's 1 inch by 1 inch and try and put detail on it and limbs. It is not easy. It's not easy. These sculptors out here who sit there and make like a 7-inch tall Hulk and things like that out of just clay and just layer it up, and absolutely fantastic, but I can't do that stuff. Good evening, Graham. How do? I've noticed that Gilderman is coming along very beautifully. In fact, he should be ready in time, I assume. I would assume so. That's why you started when you did, and that's how you got as far as you did. You just, oh, for God's sakes, man, what is it with you and breaking parts thing? How did you break Gilderman's base? My sympathies go out to you on this, because I understand the labour of love that this was. Many months of work have gone into this one model, but how have you broke the base? That's devastating. That's devastating. Is the plaque okay? Is everything repairable? Is it just a glue back on, quick touch up with the paint job, done thing, or is it a devastating, oh no, that's another 2 months worth of work to repair? Oh, thank goodness it's repairable. It is repairable. Whew. Yeah, I've got to get around to repairing my stamper. I'm thinking of just making my stamper a complete airbrush job. As far as the panel work goes, and seeing how that looks before I give it a great big no-nile and Agrax Earthshade wash. And just do random spots red, random spots blue, a few spots yellow. Dry brush the entire thing silver, heavily silver, and give it one all big almighty wash and see how that goes. That's my idea anyway. I might make an absolute disaster out of my stamper. I hope not, because that would be an absolute pain in the posterior to strip down. But I would like to see if it works. I mean, crazy ideas do sometimes work. Oh, so you think it'll be done by the end of the week? That's nice. Excellent. That means we can get final posted images. That is the amount of work just to gild that is good. Yeah, and then you've done a professional level paint job as well. All for the sake of seeing if it was possible. You're an absolute lunatic. But a genius within that lunacy as well. Because, yeah, I've thought about, oh, wouldn't it be nice to put, yeah, you gilded it. That's just nuts. Who gilds a model? Seriously, man. I know he's supposed to have golden armor, but we're supposed to paint the models. Not like actually turn them into miniature statues. You'll be riveting out the stones and stuff next to put actual like gems in and stuff. It is definitely a one of a kind. It is definitely a one of a kind. In fact, once it's finished, reach out to Cavill and say, would you like them to do your army? Could you imagine a gilded custodes? Full army gilded. Oh, Jesus. You should buy a combat patrol of custodes and just gild it all. Yes, my hat is on backwards. That way it doesn't start smacking against cameras and things. And you don't have to stare at my glaring bald head. Win-win situation. Woohoo! It's an awesome idea. You see, it wins. It works. Everybody's happy. You don't have to look at my bald head, and I don't smack my hat into the camera. Right. Okay, so I found all the skin on it. That's a lot of skin. Painting the camera. Thank you, Kirsty. Reminding me to paint in the camera. Yeah, because I do need reminding of doing that. Because I forget a lot. Now, while that dries roughly, do I do the leather next or do I do the blue? No. I do the leather next after I've done the wash for the skin tone. So now that I've painted all the skin tone, all the skin bits, I'm going to put the wash over them, which is going to be essentially pardon me, army painter speed paint over the top of Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy, Toothing Coats Ivory Tusk. So yeah, I don't use just one type of paint. I'm about to use Vallejo Model Air. Is it Model Air? No, just Vallejo Model Color to do the leathers. And then I'm pretty much going to Citadel for the blue. So it's going to be an absolute mishmash of colours and makes and things. So if you're asking, do I prefer a brand? I don't mind Citadel. Probably Vallejo, my favourite paint. And for speed paints, I prefer the version 1s. I'm army painter. But that's just me. Everyone else seems to hate the version 1s. So opinions. And we all know that I'm definitely in the other part of that common saying. So going from there, that's the 2 browns for the leathers. Now, what is going to be the leather after I've used the Crusader skin? See, I've not used AK. I've not used AK. I'm probably due to pick up a new ivory. So, Graham, what's the AK ivory like? Because in fairness, I'm not that keen on that Duncan Rhodes one. So, I'll probably go back to Vallejo unless I can find another ivory to go. Yeah, give that one a try. That one's not bad. If I can find an ivory that can, then I'll give it a try. But I might try the AK one then, because ivory is pretty much my go-to off-white. I don't like using pure white unless it's solely for priming. So, yeah. So for an off-white, it's always ivory, and I do like the Vallejo ivory. But just in case they decide to change something on it, which they're allowed to do, I want to back up. Okay, no, that one works just as well. I don't like the Citadel ivory, although I've not tried Wraithbone, in fairness, so I might have to try that just to see. Because you're thinking of the AK-47, which is a gun. AK Interact. I think it's AK Interactive. Is it interactive? Make the paints instead, which I have not yet tried. But yeah, I essentially base a color range off their ivory. Citadel aren't bad, but their ivory isn't good. I've got yet to try the new one. Vallejo, I like their ivory. Their other paints have been alright as well. I have never tried any of the non-speed paint army painter stuff, so I can't comment on that. And I'm not keen on the Duncan Rhodes stuff, I'm sorry. It kind of performs like Citadel. It's not quite ivory enough. It's too white. It's too pure. It's not got that warm tone to it that you would expect from an ivory. It's lucky I'm having to put this nice warm tone underneath it anyway before I go over it again properly. And once I've done this, I go over to the leathers and then I'll work up the back while all this dries. Just making sure, trying to get the areas where all the wrinkles and I'll want to raise up later. It does help. You dropped and broke that. Graham, I'm noticing a reoccurring thing here. You remind me of my friend, and he's purposely not allowed to pick up certain models of mine because, well, he's managed to gain the nickname of Clumsy Colin for the simple reason every time he picks a model up, he drops it. Whether it be his own, somebody else's, it doesn't matter. Halfway through a game, yeah, don't just pick up a model and knock half the scenery over. Have you ever done that by any chance? Used to also stumble into stuff quite a lot, so absolute pain to play against. Okay, we have thin ropes. Economist. She's not going to help with the thin ropes. So I see a rope. No. Well, it is now. It's the same as the thing holding that scroll in. Where else is going to have? And everywhere else looks like it should be the other brown. Might I suggest you get somebody else to take it for you, Graham? Yeah, somebody else who's going to go right out. Fair enough. You stick my spare stuff in your hand luggage. my hand luggage will consist only of Gilderman in bubble wrap, and that's it. And they take it, and then it's kind of some of the pressures off you, then. Because you're going to need dedicated protection for him. You can't just let him go in the standard luggage. He's going to have to go in the overhead compartment with you. He's going to have to be there. Yeah, he's getting there more than my clothes or my spare toothbrush or my... a personal bag on me with passport and money in. I have a bag with Gilderman in. That's all I need. And whoever you're going with's got a spare pair of something for you to survive with should anything disastrous happen with the other luggage. But yeah, I would be going overly cautious if I was you. See, I'm even thinking I should bust out a bit of red on this thing. I don't need to try for Oasis tickets, Ali. Where they're playing in Manchester, I live just far enough away that I'm going to be able to hear it for it to be an annoyance, but I'm not actually going to be able to hear what songs are playing. So that's going to be fun because of where I live. So I'm not actually going to hear the Oasis concert, but I'm going to hear the Oasis concert. So it's going to be more irritating for me than anything else. Then again, I can just get a bus and stand outside knowing that it's a free park that they're playing in and go close enough so I can actually hear the concert without paying for it. Yep, fair enough. But they may ask you to put it in the overhead during takeoff and landing. Which yeah, I'm sure they'll be willing. They may ask you to do. Can you just stash it in here, sir, while we land and while we take off and land? We understand that it means a lot to you, sir, but we do not wish it to go flying into somebody's head should something happen. Well, in fact, yeah. Regarding that Oasis gig, if I knew anyone was coming over, goes, I really wanted to go, but it's like I ain't bothered about seeing them. Or you just want to listen to the music. You just want to listen to the music, and here, go close enough, and you can hear it, and I can direct people where to go to be able to hear it without having to pay for the ticket. You'd just be stood on the street. The police might be going, "What are you doing stood here?" And you're going listening to the nice radio station that's in the park. When they go, "You can't do that. Please move along." And you go, "You know it's a free. I'm allowed to stand here." And then you pull your passport out and they deport you. But that'll be a different matter. What happens to everybody? And I'm joking. They won't deport you. You'll be perfectly fine. But Yeah, he's not necessarily because of histories with the mini like festivals that go on in that park. Some of them aren't that glorious, and some of the people that hang around outsides aren't too nice and pleasant. So I wouldn't recommend going and doing that. But if you was really, really desperate, that is one method. Just have the shotgun or something as security. A Rottweiler, pit bull, something, a very intimidating dog. Several armed men.
Or just you?
Or just me. Yeah, or just me, apparently. Yeah, apparently I walk around with a permanent angry look on my face. I don't understand, but apparently I do. Yeah, I don't like Coldplay. Coldplay are like the anti-Enya. They're both air-coloured in, but Coldplay manages to offend you. Well, it's a poem. The best song Coldplay did was a colour. It was yellow. It was how many moons ago now? That's the best song that's ever come out of Coldplay. And I don't see them doing a take that. I'm writing something truly like, wow, okay, that's good. I don't see that out of Coldplay. At least you could see that Gary could write out a take that. It's just that what he was writing was pop. But I don't see. Is it Chris Martin actually writing anything close to the level of Shine, essentially? That was an absolutely brilliant comeback song. That was an amazing comeback song. Can't stand Gary Barlow. Think he's an absolute tosser. But Shine, fair credit where credit's due. Shine's a fucking good song. I was singing it for about a month. It was that good of a song. And then I realised what I was doing, give myself a proverbial slap in the face, kick in the bollocks, and then stopped. But I still know it. It still got in my head. It still did exactly what it was supposed to do as a pop song, but it didn't offend me. It was a good pop song. It was written well. Whereas Coldplay just makes me want to punch that Chris fella in the face. Stop it! And he won't. He won't. What really annoys me is when people say, but Gary Barlow's from Manchester. I don't care how close you think he lives near Manchester. He's still, no. He's just not a completely talentless person now. He's proved he showed signs of promise, and he's proved that that promise could be actually come true. If he was to actually utilize Robbie Williams properly, could make some serious bloody money. Why have I just done the Ivory? Oh, scroll. Well, I only wanted it lightly done, so kind of a glazing on this one. But I want this scroll to be red as opposed to the usual ivory that all the others have been. So we shall try that, because it is a sorcerer and not a wizard. So I'm going to basically it's going to be mostly red at the back and then some. Not a chance. Not a chance. Nobody ever should ever have to hear me sing. Poor Mrs. Les does have to go through that every now and again. But usually I make up my own lyrics and they are not. Sometimes they're YouTube friendly. Don't get me wrong, they're not always swearing and effing and jeffing. But a lot of the time, they're not as YouTube friendly as they could be. And my singing voice is just terrible. I have sang low before. Occasionally I do it. I forget that the camera's there. And occasionally I do start singing. And then I catch myself and I realise I'm on camera and I have to apologise to people that cats are now scritching at the doors trying to get out. Okay, now I've got bits to paint gold, bits to paint blue, and bits to paint other blue, and bits to paint another blue, and bits to paint red. I wasn't expecting to paint bits red. You see? Yes, but see, the pair of you are saying you can't sing either. Neither of you are currently live on YouTube. I believe, I'm not sure regarding the children who may find it extremely embarrassing later on when they go, Dad, I can't believe you did that. But I'm going to think of my children in this case so they can't go, Dad, I don't like that noise, you see. So I want to avoid it if I can. So I'm not going to be overly embarrassing to them. What I will do is do stupid walks and silly things up to them in the street when I'm saying hello when they're with their friends. And be like really, really, really loud and just it's just like, oh my god, I can't believe you just did that. Yeah, why not? I was giving you the biggest hello I could. So they can hear me like coming from halfway down the street because I'm waving my arms and flailing them around like an absolute buffoon and what? Yeah. Just looking like, oh my god, I can't believe this. And I'm making it blatantly obvious that I'm beelining straight for them. So there is absolutely no way they can get away and like try and hide in the crowd somewhere. Because the crowd's just going to part immediately as soon as you try and do something. Yeah, you're not hiding behind me. He's an absolute nutter. He's clear. He's after you. Deal with him. Hurry up. Seems to be nice. As long as you don't do anything stupid, so don't hide behind us. Especially if you put on a funny limpy walk as well. It's not just my kids, my nieces and nephews hate me for it as well. Yeah, absolute first class bit sometimes. Everyone needs to be embarrassed. Everyone needs to be embarrassed at least a little bit. And it's like, okay. I can do that. That's fun. So yeah, I'll embarrass them a little bit. Not too much. I say not too much. There'll only be around 70 to 140 people around, depending on where they are. And I'll walk up to them screaming, "Yeah, like waving my arms around and walking like Quasimodo." Oh no, my eldest red if I have to come out looking for her. It's just like, no, please, no, 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 I'm on my way home. I'm on my way home. Don't send him. Do not send him. Because she was the last one I had to go get from the town centre because they were ignoring the phone and not coming home in time when we told them to. Now she goes places where she thinks I don't know about, but it's just the places where I grew up. It's great. She's like, yeah, I'm going to hide up here. Yeah, I know those streets. It's awesome. So ostentatious. Whisper Sorceror. Kitty cat. That's gold necklace. Gold trim around. Helps me actually use my magnifying glasses, doesn't it? Gold trim around there. And I've changed my mind on this ring on the back as well. This ring on the back is going to be gold. Close the ring around the tail. There's actually only half there. Good sculpt in there. I have tagged Steam Forge games in this, but they have not sponsored this in any way, so I do not feel obliged to mention the fact that that sculpting bit there where the frigging ring on the tail disappears is a huge glaring flaw. But then again, these models are absolutely bleeding tiny, so well done for attempting to actually get a fucking ring on the tail. But the earrings seem to be fine. The earrings seem to be going fine. I don't think, as far as I'm aware, Sparkles has never been on karaoke with me, so I don't know. I'm interested to find out what a karaoke song is. Because neither one of us particularly wants to go to karaoke. So and having 3 kids and not regular babysitter doesn't help if you want to go out to go to things like karaoke. And having things like smoking bans in places, and I wasn't inclined to go out. Although now that I've quit smoking, maybe I will. See, I don't mind singing in the comment section. That I can do. Right, now for the pain in the backside blues. Before I have to put more ivory, and then I have to start ivory. So, start with the darkest blue. And this is to layer up the back of it. I want one thin layer of this all over. All over here, essentially. Trying to make sure we cover any smudging we did with the gold. And hopefully what I'm going to be able to do, this is going to be adventurous for me, is first of all I say good evening to Angie, even though that's not as adventurous as I hope it was going to be. But good evening to Angie, and then like I did the Frosty axe for Parkus, I'm going to try doing similar things for along the runes on this cloak back thing if I can, which is why I'm starting at such a dark blue. I'm just going to give my neck a rest for a moment because ow, and this thing squeezes my head a bit. I'm just going to loosen that and have tea. Thank you very much, Charlie, because you do remind me I have tea. I have tea. While I'm drinking tea, I wish to look at the other two blues and put them in places where I can mix them if necessary. So I can show it. Well, I need to do it a little bit anyway. I've already started with that one. And then the other one. Appointment. Well, at least you're getting to see someone. It's always good. Better than being sat on a waiting list for 9 months. And I'll make a little bit of that and mix that in. Just so we start to get a bit of a mid-tone between those two. Okay, so we've got the three blues starting to mix up now. Now she's goggles down, headache ready. Let's have a look at the blues on this. So if we kind of try and do it from the try and work in darker from the edges. In this case, rather than Parker's where I took the inside darker instead of being lighter out. I'm going to start the outside darker on this one. If I can, anyway. I'm going to try. I don't know if it's going to work or how subtle it's going to be. Well, it's still quite wet if I can get that to blend a little bit more there. I'll come back in here while that's still a little bit wet. Just overpower it a little bit with this. Ah! Too wet, too wet. Damn it, who thought lightning bolts was a good idea on the back of a cat this small? Really? Who on earth thought that lightning bolts were, whatever these symbol-y things are, it was a good idea on a cat this frigging small? And this camera doesn't even pick it up properly. I'm gonna need something else. I can't even see that because of... Yeah, no, you can't even see. There is a variance in colour. You're just going to have to trust me for now, and then I will put pictures up, honestly. I'm going to have to find a way to stream in 1080 because you can't see the variance in colour in the camera, but I can see it here in front of me because it is quite subtle, but I've not come to the final highlighty stage, so... Hopefully this will bring out certain lines and features a little more. Oh, I'm using the completely wrong brush. What the fucking hell am I doing? I'm behaving like a moron. I'm having a little tantrum over some stupid little plastic model. It's not a stupid little plastic model, but it is for the purposes of having a little temper tantrum. That's a really nice model. Now I'm getting to pick out the details from it and actually look at it. It is a really nice model. It's just because of the size of it and the amount of detail they've managed to fit within it is quite... Lazy Mini Painting's got to put some effort in, people. Lazy Mini Painting. has to put some effort in. Okay. So first of all, wash the brush off. Now I'm going to need to dry brush the skin with ivory again anyway, but before I do that, I wish to make sure that brush is washed off because it doesn't appear to be. I also wish to actually paint the eye. Yes, I have one more left to go after Whisper. I have Cleo. Thank you. Cleo the Ranger. Cleo the Ranger, I'm kind of half looking forward to and half not. Because Rangers carry crap loads of stuff. Bows, arrows, quivers, padded armors. You know, they go quite well equipped into the wilderness and adventures. So, yay for Rangers. But it's not just that. It's also quite an interesting model, that one. I've got two of these. Where is one? High Lord Blue. There we go. I don't want to just do the eyes in the same way that was done. It's very small little drop, and just because his eyes, contrast paints are so much easier for it. Well, this is a series of 6 because 6 come in the box. I'm going to try to pick up the Combat Patrol tomorrow, if possible, because it should be another cheap one. And I can run the battle again with painted models. Which he always thinks looks better, even from the start, even when you're doing just the first couple of issues where you shouldn't be really using painted models. Pardon me, I think it's nice to be using them if you can. Depending on how much I continue on with said Combat Patrol will define whether or not I manage to keep up with that statement. Because there will be at points and certain parts where they're giving me different armies at certain points. So the Eldari, for instance, a small unit of them, and okay, this is how they work and their weapons are, and this is how you run a small Eldari force. They're like, okay, I've not run an Eldari force, I've not painted up the Eldari force. Not yet, anyway. I'd have to run painting ones separate, probably the following Monday, to actually paint up the force for it. If I was to go that far, I don't intend to do. Hopefully I can cherry pick the bits that I want, and I'll cover those magazines if it's warranted and if people want to see it. I don't believe anyone wishes to collect any of the other armies or wishes to have any of the other armies collection or anything. I don't know. I mean, the entire series is about 900-ish pounds over about £10 a week-ish. So it's not like it's 900 quid. Boom, there you go. Got to pay us £1,000. No, but it's still bloody expensive over a period of time. It's cheaper than buying from Games Workshop, don't get me wrong. It's a lot cheaper than buying from Games Workshop, but I don't particularly have any. I never particularly wanted to start a Leagues of Votan or. I mean, a Chaos Force I could do. Well, it's £10 an issue and 90 issues. And you're getting the equivalent of 9 combat patrol boxes in it, which is quite a lot in fairness. They're £100 each for a combat patrol box, but also within that you're also getting paints, and you get glue, snips, a mold line remover, and a couple of extra models that weren't in the actual combat patrol. And some of these combat patrols are no longer available and work out to be better value than what the current ones are, except for the Space Marine and the Tyranids, which are absolutely terrible value from when he has combat patrols. You can buy the combat patrol far cheaper and get the other army's combat patrol with it. This doesn't make sense. But hey. The whole point of the starter boxes is they are lost leaders to get people into the hobby. But if I was going to send someone the starter box way to get into the hobby, I would say buy 2 of them. You and your mate will both have 2 armies. Both have an army each, about the same size. Then think about buying one big thing each. And to that, you'll be done. Well, that's the thing, Ali. Sometimes the models you get within the £10 edition are actually worth way more than £10. And as a saving, if you was to buy all those models individually, you would save an absolute fortune. The only thing is you would have to have a need for those models or a want for those models. And that's where the difference comes in. Although I have 3 armies, that means, okay, roughly a third of it I could use, which isn't bad. It isn't bad. So it's about 300 quid's worth of it I could use. But for £300, I could buy different units for those armies that I would prefer to have, and that would fit how I wish to play with them better. So when it comes to why don't I collect it, because it's multiple armies, it's multiple armies, but I only have so many of those multiple armies. I could possibly sell on one of them, maybe a couple of sets of them. Again, another third being the Eldari and the Chaos to other people that I know. But that would still leave me with Gene Stealer Cults, Leagues of Votan, and who would be the other one? So I'll take the Orcs, the Space Marines, the Tyranids. Sell them 2 off to him, that one off to him. Leaving the Leagues of Votan, Gene Stealer Cults. I forgot what the other bloody army is that you get in it. I honestly have. I've completely forgotten what the other army is. Right, I'm going to have a look now. I'm going to do my editing until I figure it out. Right. I've got multiple copies of the magazine. Graham, don't be grassing on me. Don't be grassing on me that I've got more than one copy of issue 1. I've already built the Tyranid Primes. It's too late. Well, that's no good. It doesn't tell me. Although it does tell me to get issue 3 for free. Which is the first actual £10 issue. Graham, don't grass on me. I have multiple copies of issue 1. Right, free poster, but on that free poster, it does actually give me it gives me a run out of the actual people. Because I'm just waiting for Whisper to dry for the moment. I'm very nearly finished. Imperial Guard, that was it. So yeah, it leads to Votan. So I might be able to sell the IG off. Right, so if it's sell IG off to Ramrod, sell them off to Motte, sell them off to Shardwick Jr. I have them and them. That leaves me with them and them. Well, Gene Stealer cults I could always run with Tyranids, I suppose, as allies, which is not bad. Leagues of Votan. Possibly use them for conversion bits. That'll be about the only thing I can think of. Unless I was fancy build up and paint each faction as they was to come in, except for the two that I collected, which are Space Marines and Tyranids. Paint them with my colours. But if it was to do everything else in the colours that it says, because it sends you you get a lot of paints with it as well. And I do have, obviously, I have extra paints that they don't have and some speed paints, etc. So I will be able to do slight variants. And look, it doesn't tell you how to paint up to the standard it shows you. Let's put it that way. All right, so Whisper. What color should your tags be, Whisper? I think they should be I don't know. I honestly don't know. Whisper has these little flappy things on, okay? You can't see because the camera's friggin' awful. Since he wants to paint them, that's it done. And I'm not sure what colour to paint them. There's 1, 2 on that side, 2 on that side. So it's almost like talismans. It's like a talisman paint on ivory. Dumbass. Paint them extremely bright. And have them very bright gold or well, you do get the paints as well, or some of them. You don't get the complete range that I've got, but you get some paints. But with it being a subscription-based thing, obviously you have to pay in advance and subscribe to it. So it's like money. It's like, no, I'm not willing to do that. unless I know which ones I'm going to be getting. Sorcerer Ostentatious gold tabby things. So you will. I mean, I did get one of them. First one that they did were Conquest, which they did back in 8th edition. It's where I got a lot of the duplicate main forces, the things that I've got 9 of, mainly came from those type of that magazine or others like it. So I got the Conquest magazine, but I've got it start to finish. I got the complete thing, which is why I've partially got so many paints. Especially Death Guard green, which I didn't need. I never intended to paint up the Death Guard side of the army. So I never needed that. But I did end up with an absolute crap ton of Primaris, including a Redemptor Dreadnought and my only big vehicle, which is mostly a transport, but it proxies for a few things. It's nice. I've got to say that I'm quite happy with that little. It's quite a large tank, actually. Its size on the board, what it can do as it by itself, and what it can physically proxy is quite impressive.
2 of them come out cute. 2 fragments.
If I can go with my turtle. Right, I still want to bring a bit more brightness to that blue. I'm not happy with it. I know I wanted it to be darker down at the edges, but I did want this top edge to be quite bright, and it doesn't seem to be quite pinging out enough for me. Well, a lot of the stuff I won't be able to find uses for outside of just painting. So unless somebody else had a use for them and they'd be like, fair enough, you paint them for me, I'll buy them for you, then I don't have a use for a lot of it. Because there is an entire section of the game you can play called Combat Patrol, where you don't use full rules really, and you only use certain small units, which happen to be a lot of them happen to be within that collection. And it is designed as a lore to get you into actually playing the game properly and expand on those forces. Don't get me wrong, it's a gateway drug into the hobby. This one especially, because it gives you loads of different armies, so you can go, oh, I prefer those ones. Sell off the rest, put the money towards buying an army for those ones. or at least gives you a small army to go carry on buying little bits of everyone, build them all out, and then you've got a little army of everybody to use. And that is Whisper completed. I'm much happier with the back on that one. Again, pictures will follow both on Instagram and the community page in higher resolution than what you can see here. I hope you like them. I hope Sparkles likes this. I'm just gonna, where did I put that? I'm just gonna re-go over the eyes just because I'm not quite happy with this one. In this case, I certainly want them to be more piercing blue. I don't really want the white or the black to be in there. I want them to be much bluer. And we shall see afterwards. But yes, there we are. We have Whisper finished, leaving only the Ranger, which I've already been told the name of, Chloe. Cleo? Chloe. Chloe last. Chloe. Which I already have the picture for Chloe set up, so I should actually set that one up properly and get that one set up. And yes, so thank you very much for everyone who's come out to see me. Graham, Mick, Ali, Kirsty. I believe that was everybody tonight because I was daft enough and didn't do it last night. I'm going to try and be back on Monday next week. So yes, hopefully it'll be as normal, 9:30 Monday. And we'll be doing Chloe. But after that, I don't know what I'll be doing from then onwards. Maybe we should have a bit of a chat about that one. Because there is always... Well, we'll leave that for the chat after Chloe, shall we? But yes, it's something that I've done. Some of you are aware of it, some of you aren't. But I may be doing it again, but different colours. But I have to do them first. I may do a stream about doing them, or I may go back to some of my Space Marines that need to be finished so I can play the Necrons, as well as making the scenery now, as I've had a play about with Milliput, and I think I know what I should do. So yes, we shall decide afterwards, but we have one more Cats and Catacombs character to go. For now, anyway. We may get Dogs and Dungeons, we may get more Cats and Catacombs, we don't know. But we have one more to go for now. But thank you very much for everyone coming and joining me, and drive safe. See you later.